Gundam True Odyssey or MS Saga A New Dawn in English is a PlayStation 2 Japanese role-playing game developed by Beck and published by Bandai, nowadays known as Bandai Namco. The game featured the popular Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. However, you won't be needing prior knowledge of the series before you start playing to understand them. The story is set in a post-apocalyptic time after an event called the Great Fall, which reduced the number of humans living on Earth significantly. With machine left over from the past called G system, the human can create any machine that they had data from the past. This allowed them to create the mobile suit from the Gundam series. If you're familiar with the Gundam series, this game featured a unit designed from the Universal Century, Fighter G Gundam, and Gundam Wing. The story follows a boy named Tristan and his friends who live in the orphanage. One day, a group of mobile suits attacked their homes and burned it to the ground, killing everybody there except Tristan and his friend named Frisk. They then visited the G system to get a mobile suit of their own, to pursue the attacker, to get revenge, and seek answer why did the group attack their home. The gameplay of MS Saga is similar to a lot of JRPG from the PS2 era, featuring turn-based battle and a lot of random encounter along the way. However, the game did very well to make the experience enjoyable by giving you a lot of quality of life missing in a lot of older games, such as the ability to fast travel to town you had visited, escape from a dungeon, and the power to reduce or increase the random encounter rate, making this game very easy to move around and grind if you choose to. The battle featured the energy system, as the player will need the energy to act. Special attack and strong weapon will consume more energy. Energy is gained at the start of the turn, depending on whether your character is positioning in the back or the front row, affect how much energy they will gain per turn. There is a command that gives you extra energy in exchange for skipping your turn as well. Switching back and forth between the back and the front row character is easy. A common strategy I use is to switch back character in once they gather enough energy to use their ultimate attack, or switch them in when I need them to use a technical defensive abilities. In the battle, you have access to information about how much energy the enemy has and what command they are inputting, but not in detail. For example, the game will notify you if the enemy is using a ranged attack, but it won't tell you which weapon is being used. This allows the player to respond to what the enemy is doing. If the enemy is using their boost attack, the player might choose to guard to cut the damage in half. With that being said, the boss fight in this game is extremely trial and error style, where you will likely lose the first time and easily beat it on the second tries. The reason is that all the bosses have a scripted attack patterns that eventually repeat. Most of the time, I lose the battle because I respond incorrectly to the attack, but once the attack pattern is noted down, it is much easier to get past the same boss. If you don't want to take note, then you can check on the internet as well, since someone usually shares the patterns, especially against the stronger enemy. The visual language of this game is the weaker aspect of it. Some ability make you immune to physical round, such as bullet and cannon shot. With that being said, it is not surprising to see the ability that help you defend against a beam, or a counter ability that intercept enemy range or melee attack. The frustration comes when the game only has one visual for a lot of the boost attack. When you are using some of the boost attack, you get to choose what weapon you want to fire the boost attack from. So sometimes, if the boost attack animation look like a beam attack, however the user select a physical round weapon, you will have to use the ability to guard the physical round, which can be extremely confusing. The worst part of all this though, is some boost attack have the unit shooting out a projectile from their weapon, but this does not count as a ranged attack. The equipment system in this game is similar to the one of the Diablos on PC, where each mobile suit will have a different occupiable space where the player have to organize space to fit in all of the gear they wanted. Each piece of equipment will take different size slots as well. Additionally to the equipment, you can customize your mobile suit with the different parts you found around the world. You can also mix different unit parts to create a unique looking mobile suit. Mostly you do this to get good stat going, since most of the time mixing part will result in making your unit look like a walking cloud. You can mix or just keep the unit as they are. You should be able to complete the game either way. Apart from customizing your equipment and parts, you can also customize the colors. This helps blend different parts a bit. However, apart from splashing the entire unit in one color, the ability to pick exactly what part you want to be what color is quite poor. If I choose to colorize the unit torso, it also affects the head of the unit as well, making this feature a bit hit and miss. In terms of direction, and if you'll be needing guides to go through the games, I think you can get through to the end of the game, fine about one. The only annoying thing is that the world map, apart from showing the icon of the dungeon and town on it, it does not display the name of the location, so sometimes you might forget what is where. There is no problem accessing the town though, because you can fast travel to the visited town. However, when it's come to dungeon, you will have to travel there manually. On the other hand, when it's come to indoor location or the map of the dungeon, the layout is great. It shows you the area you have visited and the area you haven't visited, so it's help if you want to explore the entire dungeon. However, if you want to do all the side quests and grab all the hidden items, using the guide is a great idea, since a lot of hidden items in this game are usually out of sight, like behind a wall where the camera can't reach, so unless you want to blindly run into every single blind spot and spamming confirm button, using a guide will keep you saner. A few units are also optional, so if you want to collect all of them, you might want to be reading up a guide while playing the games. For the difficulty of the games, as I mentioned above, most if not all the bosses can be beaten as long as you know their pattern, so if you want to do it traditional way, feel free to get the pen and paper ready, or just look them up online. Most main story bosses are quite easy. You'll start running into some problem while doing side quests and post-game dungeon, but that's up to you if you want to do them or not. Now, a bit about the story and the characters. If you're looking for a great story you can feel invested in, this game ain't it. Most of the writing is quite simple and everyone moves from point to point pretty quick. You might think that every character that joins you should have a good reason and motivation for doing so. But most of the time, they are just joining you because the game wants to give you a new characters. There is not much character development in the games. A lot of the characters stay the same throughout the story, and some have character development off the screen, so you won't be seeing that. The characters themselves have an interesting design. While I won't be calling it appealing, they are quite unique, except for Vargas. That guy is a walking rainbow hippie that happened to be a sky pirate as well. Dialogue between characters is not that great either. At this point, you might notice I definitely did not play the games because I like the story or the characters. If you are a Gundam fanatic, this game might tick you off here and there. Don't expect everything to follow the lore of the original series. Be ready to see a Saku shooting out funnel without any additional parts add-on and stuff. However, if you like Gundam and are not taking things too seriously, I think you will be liking the game quite a bit. The graphic of the game is amazing in terms of quality of the asset. However, if you don't like the look of the super deformed Gundam, you won't be liking it. Not only does it look great at its original resolution, it also scales extremely well on emulators. The equipment and menu portrait is done in pixel art and is extremely charming. The animation and movement are expressive and enjoyable to see over and over again. The facial expression of the character can be odd looking, but I do not expect too much from the game from this era. With all that out of the way, I had a great experience playing through MS Saga, and I might actually replay it in the future, this time mixing all the different unit parts together and maybe trying to finish the post-game dungeon. If you like Gundam, definitely check this game out, and even if you don't know what Gundam is, I still recommended you to check out this game. It takes quite a while before I get to release the review since I like to finish the main game first, so thank you so much for showing interest and subscribing to the channel. I'll be seeing you guys next time in the ORPG worth playing review. Have a good day.